Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given. Joined as always by John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. John, we had the State of the Union last night, and I didn't even know it was going to happen until you texted me. Because yesterday we didn't have the show and I canceled it. Actually, I don't know if anyone is going to even be here with our regular folks because they don't know it's the day. But yeah, you said, oh, we can get the State of the Union right off the press. Like, oh, shit, I forgot all about that. And so I was excited to watch it. And I was busy last night, so I didn't get to. I tried to watch the highlights. And I watched as much as I could today. And I don't know your opinion on this, but kind of a snoozer, honestly. I did not find it. I didn't think it was Trump's finest hour.
Yeah, no. So I didn't watch last night and also decided to catch up because I smelled this coming, TJ. Like the first State of the Union they did about a year ago, which wasn't a State of the Union, but
yeah,
State of the Union. It felt real. Like it felt like, hey, this was his first big address as the president of the United States. It was reported that he was going to keep it for Trump concise and on point. To his credit, it was, and there was nothing like that coming out about this one. And I knew it was going to be one of those just Trump gets up and does an hour to 2 hour long diatribe on whatever comes to his mind in the moment, and that's exactly what we got last night. Like I had a strong inclination to believe that would be the case, and so I didn't suffer through the live broadcast, caught up, and even like the catch up. Nothing really there was nothing of any remark in the State of the Union. Like I remember the last one, I was deeply affected by how crazy it was, and this one is just like it's all hollowed out. Like nothing is left anymore. I have more to say about the Democratic strategy around it than anything else because nothing really of any importance happened, and so it was kind of boring. And that's a great way to open a show, TJ.
I know.
Very good way to hook the viewers, but I mean, they know it too. They also live in this world. This is happening the next day, so I don't think anyone is logging into this show expecting some exciting conversation to happen about the State of the Union because it just wasn't exciting.
Well, if anyone can make it exciting, it's the two of us. And I did want to get your opinion on the highlights. Before we get to the Democrats, just like, by the way, can you hear Wolfie? He is whining his ass off. Do you hear him?
Yes.
God damn it. Wolfie. Yep. All right, pipe down. Shut up. But yes, cat abuse is what we are famous for in this account here. No, but I titled the video that Trump has insulted half the nation, calls half the nation crazy, which is only kind of true. He called the Democrats, in particular, the ones sitting in the State of the Union, crazy. And that's close enough because I just think back to all the times Republicans have run with, hyperbolic statements like this. Considering when Biden was president, that Biden would say something like, the opposition party is full of quasi-fascists, or there are quasi-fascists in the MAGA, what they call them, the extreme MAGA Republicans is what they would say.
MAGA Republicans, yep.
They would
sometimes.
Yeah, he wouldn't even say Republicans in general. And Republicans lost their mind. They went crazy saying, how can Biden be so divisive to this country? We need a real unifier like Donald Trump. And so I just wanted to point that out. Did you have any highlights of anything that Trump said?
Really, no. Again, no highlights from Trump. Like Trump was just playing the hits. Like Trump does this now, where he just goes up and really has nothing of any particular importance to say. And it's just him going off the cuff for an hour to 2 hours. Like that, there's nothing that if you've been following Donald Trump in the way that we have and watching the show, you know everything that he said last night without needing to watch. Really, like I can't even think of a highlight moment that stood out in my mind, TJ. Does anything even stand out to you?
Oh yeah, I got a couple that I have here. So I wanted to let's see what I go with first. The tariff thing is what I want to go with first, and Trump talking to addressing the Supreme Court. I think 5 Supreme Court justices were there out of the 9, and this part right here, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Okay, let's see what he had to say.
Already made, right, Scott? That the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe that tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system.
Oh, they cut out the last part there where he said that tariffs were going to replace the modern day system of income tax. And insane, obviously. But one thing I would like to ask you, John, do you think Trump, it's been a year since he's been in office, a little over a year. Do you think he knows what a tariff is yet? Like if you ask Donald Trump, define a tariff and the mechanisms for how it's implemented, do you think he'd be able to?
TJ, I know that like we call ourselves a little bit of Trump whisperers. Like we generally know what's going on in that dude's mind and what he's going to do and why. I haven't been able to answer this question for myself over the past 2 years. I do not know whether or not Donald Trump understands what a tariff is and is consciously lying about it, or genuinely thinks a tariff is paid by the foreign countries that are exporting goods to us. And that they aren't paid by the American importers or passed down to consumers. Like, I don't know. He clearly, you can tell when he's speaking who he was talking to like 5 minutes beforehand to give him these talking points. Like the thing with he keeps saying that it was a terrible decision that lets him do untold harm to other foreign nations. And you know that was like Stephen Miller whispering in his ear, telling him how the decision was actually good for him and is going to let him do all of these things. Like you can tell who's speaking. I don't know where the tariff thing came from. I don't know who's telling him these things. I do not know whether or not he understands what a tariff is. But I do know, TJ, I don't know if you saw, this is kind of a little bit non sequitur, but very much on tariffs. We didn't have a chance to discuss this when the Supreme Court decision came down. But do you know who stands to make millions and millions and millions of dollars when these tariffs get refunded?
Oh, who's John?
One is Howard Lutnick.
Howard Lutnick. God damn it! I was going to guess Howard Lutnick. I swear to God, I was going to guess Howard Lutnick.
Listen to this, DJ. I'm not even making this shit up. Like sounds like something that like if you saw it in a movie, you'd be like, oh well, that's such blatant corruption. That could never happen in real life. So Howard Lutnick left his position as chair of a financial management company and left that company to be chaired by his two sons now when he left to take his current role as not Treasury Secretary.
Commerce.
What was it?
Secretary of Commerce.
Secretary of Commerce, right. And so that company bought millions and millions of dollars off the rights to tariff refunds. So companies that had to pay tariffs, they sold the rights to their refunds to Howard Lutnick's now son's company to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. So the government is going to release these. By the way, Howard Lutnick is the one who designed the entire tariff program. Howard Lutnick is the guy behind the tariffs. That is his baby. And so he wrote up all the laws for the tariffs, all the way that they're going to be implemented, put them out there, charged Americans billions of dollars in taxes, which he likely knew was illegal, which is why his sons bought up the rights to the refunds they knew were going to happen because their dad designed the illegal tariff scheme. I know that. I know that was a scam. What I don't know is if Donald Trump was in on it or not, or if Howard Lutnick just played him like a fiddle. I really don't know what the answer is there.
Yeah, that's. I think I remember hearing something about that a little while ago, but yeah, I'm not shocked to hear that about Howard Lutnick. I wish that I knew we were going to talk about this guy because Howard Lutnick. We mentioned how he was ecstatic about getting a bunch of money from his payouts in after 9/11. I made a video on TikTok about this, which you guys can find at Power Sticking Not Given at TikTok. And I was talking about how insane it was that he was pretending to be sad and doing a very poor job at it. And I had some of my comments like, well, won't those payments go to the family members? And the answer is no. The answer is that this was taken out by Cantor Fitzgerald. That's who it was. That's where he worked. He was the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald.
Exactly.
And yeah, they actually fought it in court for a long time until 2003, and they got the payment up to $135 million. And the people of the company, they assumed the money would go to the family members, but Howard Lutnick held a conference and a meeting and told them that no, actually, this money the bulk of it is going to be distributed amongst the shareholders at like $2 a share. It was going to go out to everybody, and Lutnick owned the most shares, and he got they estimated between $25 million out of that. So no, I'm not surprised. Howard Lutnick, you can't say the guy's not a forward thinker. The guy is always looking to make a quick buck and, look as sleazy as possible while doing so. But I didn't know that. But the tariff thing with here, what was he saying here? When he said that the Supreme Court made an unfortunate decision to revoke my authority to make unilateral tariffs, but we found a framework somewhere else where we're going to keep this going, and we think that there's other decisions that will support this. Does that mean he was going to keep fighting it, or that he was like, no, fuck it, I'm leaving tariffs in place? What exactly did he mean by that? I didn't really understand.
So, PJ, no one really knows what's going on.
Okay, glad it's not just me. Okay,
like he thinks, I can tell you, he thinks that he can just do it slightly differently and it will work. And honestly, I don't know if he's wrong, because the mechanisms that the Supreme Court has to enforce their decision are basically nothing. Like, the agency can't do the things that they said that can't be done. But if he just makes up another reason to implement the tariffs, then the Supreme Court has to strike down that reason, and the tariffs will remain active between now and then. And we'll just keep playing this game over and over and over. Specifically, SCOTUS did not say anything about what was to be done with the illegally collected tariff income. So that's, as I said, I don't know if the refunds are going to happen. I'm pretty sure they are, because Howard Lutnick has a vested financial interest in making them happen. But other than that, like, we could just be playing this game where every 6 to 12 months, there's a new reason for implementing the tariffs that gets struck down by the Supreme Court and then gets refunded. And that's just how our economy runs until Trump is done with this shit. Like, I don't know, TJ. No one knows what's happening, but he's being told. That's an example of where you can tell someone in his cabinet, in his inner circle, told him, hey, there's this other way we can implement the tariffs. He believes them. But that doesn't mean that they're actually able to do it.
No, we got a comments here, a lot of viewers, but not a lot of comments flowing in. This is our question and answer segment ostensibly tonight. So if you guys got any questions, new people probably, let us know. John, how's your Spanish? El Don Trump dice que nosotros, los Latinos, le robamos el trabajo. Donald Trump, something about Latinos and jobs.
Yeah, something, I think like stealing jobs. Donald Trump says that the Latinos are stealing jobs. I think that's what he's saying there. And then nosotros los Latinos limpiamos los casas y limpiamos. I forget what that is, but it's something about the houses in the American cities. We are Latinos. I think that says cleaning houses in American cities. I really think that's what he says there, but I also don't know what the point he's making is. So.
Hey, Michael Mexican, watching us, I'm assuming you speak some English. Could you let us know? It's like, I'm just saying, I'm assuming, look, man, you have Google Translate. We do too. We could just type it in there and find out exactly what it meant. But cut out the middleman for us, man. Let us know what's up here. All right. There's another clip from Trump I wanted to add here. Let's see. Which one is this? This is about Social Security and Medicare. I can't remember why I added this one. I'll find out after I listen.
To make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it. For our seniors, we will always protect Social Security, Medicaid.
You see Medicaid too? That's wild that he added Medicaid after slashing all those people off it. I remember what I was going to say from this now.
DJ, today, like 30 minutes ago, J.D. Vance said that they're cutting Medicaid funding to Minnesota because of fraud.
Yeah.
Like he said that it's never going anywhere, and then today it was like, well, unless you live in Minnesota.
Yeah, going after Medicaid is a Republican. It's a darling, and going after Social Security in a certain way. What they like to say is that they'll protect Social Security for everyone who's already older. If you're 55 and up, your Social Security is going to be safe. If it's everyone younger than you, we're going to have to raise. I don't know if you saw that Dr. Oz clip where Dr. Oz said that we need young people to start working 1 year earlier and working 1 year later when they're old. And that's going to save a lot of money on Social Security. Basically, work yourself to the grave to help your country and everything. But what I liked there, what Trump did, is honestly, we've been arguing that the Democrats should be saying a whole lot more of this stuff. Is he came right out and said, these people right here, my political opponents sitting right in front of me, they are not trying to protect you. I wish to God Democrats do more of that shit. It works. People are very simple. That doesn't mean they're stupid, but they're simple. Politics is a complex game. And so if you can come out and say, I am doing this, that's great, but I am doing this, and these people here are trying to stop me, and I'm trying to help you, that's great. I thought Trump had a couple of good moments in an otherwise lackluster speech, but I thought that was one. I wish that politicians would do more of that.
Yeah, and they should, and they try, but like the Democrats aren't good at it. Like the Democrats are not good at fear mongering. They just because how do I put this? I feel like the core Democratic base right now, and when I say I feel like this is very much evidence based, but the core Democratic base right now is your mostly white, but most importantly college educated, middle to upper middle class. Working person. That's like the base that the Democratic Party is controlled by right now. And those people aren't actually scared of shit. Like you can't
that's a good point. That's
because
true.
There's
That's
nothing
true.
really scary. Like yeah, we get scared of stuff, but am I really shaking in my boots over an economic collapse? It's scary relatively, but I know I'm going to be okay. No matter, like it would have to get really, really, really bad to the point where it's difficult to believe that that's the truth for me to be genuinely shitting my pants over something happening, because I know I'll be okay. We have savings, we have our college degree, we have whatever. It's hard to scare us, so they don't. When they pretend to be scared, it comes across as very ungenuine. Whereas your rural poor white dude in Kansas, he's got a lot to be scared of. he's not fighting from a position of strength here. So I feel like they're just better at fear mongering because their base, the people who control the party, has a lot more to be afraid of. And genuinely speaking, the problem is they're afraid of all the wrong shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they have more to be afraid of, kinda, but also they're really good at creating something to be afraid of that isn't scary at all. Half the people in the nation believe that schools are having litter boxes for kids to shit in, right? That they're genuinely concerned about this stuff. They're worried that their daughters, because their daughter's going to be a D1 athlete, their daughter's college scholarship is going to be stolen from her by a trans athlete, something they can't even do. Trans athletes can't get college scholarships. So yeah, it's let alone the fact that there's like one or two per state or something. That it's really easy when I'm trying not to sound like an asshole here, but when you don't know a whole lot. It's like when you're not terribly well educated, you're not well informed, you're not involved in anything outside of the 5-mile radius of your community that you've grown up in, everyone you know has grown up in. It's a lot easier to scare those folks. And that's a great point too about the core Democratic voter, because this is something that we'll talk about the voter ID too, but the people who are hurt the most by American economic policy or American foreign policy for that matter don't really vote. The poorest people in the population vote a lot less than the richest people or middle class people in the population, even though the poor people suffer more. So when you're trying to gin up fear for someone who's, if not financially wealthy or affluent, at least stable, right? They have a decent family, they have a mortgage, they have a decent job. If something completely collapses, they've got their degrees on their side, they've got connections, they've got networking. It's hard to be terribly, horrified And when you're preaching to those people and saying, look what they're doing to other folks, look what they're doing across the ocean, look what they're doing in South America, look what they're doing to immigrants, look what they're doing to the minority communities, look what they're doing to Somalis or Somali immigrants, that's going to work. But it's not going to work as much as directing it towards you. And sorry for not so long on this because I thought that was just an amazing point. I want to extrapolate on it. But I kind of see it too. We've joked before that, if the fascists take over, it'll be bad, but we'll be fine. I include myself in that too. And I've noticed is that, so when I was younger, I got pulled over a lot when I was in my 20s or so. I lived in rural Missouri. And so if I was driving anywhere unfamiliar, I'd get pulled over a lot. I never got a ticket though. They would see, oh, black guy driving a nice car in this neighborhood. What's going on here? They pull me over. But once I started talking and they're like, oh, this one can talk. How about that? Like, this is an educated one, or like this one, he seems like he's in a social strata that I either aspire to be in or that I can expect, like immediately. So like when you hear people saying that, oh, you're afraid, I'm not afraid to get pulled over by cops. I've never had a bad interaction with one, but that's not because, there isn't systemic. I understand the world is bigger than me. That is what these people can't fucking understand, that you're not the only person in existence here. And that is hard to get across. That's a good point. It's kind of hard to convince people to vote outside of their special interest.
DJ, like you're making good points here. I'm distracted by the chat right now.
Why is it in Spanish?
Yes. Today? Like, we're not speaking Spanish, guys. I don't know. I mean, I know what you're saying. I know you're calling me a homosexual. It's pretty clear from the context clues here. But I've never seen a single Spanish comment in our comment section with him. And then tienes ancianos en tu país también, which I don't know what ancianos means, but people. Okay, so we have old people in your country as well. So that's what they're saying from my Spanish language translator who just walked in the door.
I like that. The only English comments we got is this one that says "chat is broken," written in this weird font. I don't know why. Yeah. And then someone say, "You are an idiot." There's the only clear English one. That's pretty great. Right there.
Thank you, Kevin Willis.
Yes,
you'll love our show. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I also love the chat. Is like that was fucking. What's his name? The Panthers quarterback who played for Auburn, whose name Cam Newton. That's how he writes everything in that like weird wing thing.
Cam Newton played for Auburn. Yeah, what does it matter? This doesn't matter at all. But Hugh Jazz says, "Are my comments not working? I don't see any. Can you see mine? Mike, you disappearing." Hugh Jazz, I'm so glad that someone we know is here. I have no idea what's going on in comments. Like a lot of them are in Spanish. I guess a lot of them aren't popping up. Someone wrote in a weird font that chat is broken. I don't know what's up. Who knows really what's going on?
Like right now on our stream, TJ, we only have one person streaming on the left wing. The rest are all streaming on your channel. I don't know. Weird. I don't know what's going on here. Very weird algorithm day, DJ.
That's weird. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but all right, yeah. So what were we talking about? We were talking about tariffs, and then we went to I don't remember. So I'm gonna go to another clip right here. Oh no, I remember, John. I wanted to ask you something that Trump said. So I don't have the clip, but Trump does say that we should have voter ID, and he went off on this big voter ID tangent. And I think you will agree with this because I think we're pretty similar on this. What do you think about this? I think the Democrats should just bite the bullet and say, yes, we are going to propose voter. Oh, you agree? You agree? You probably think the same thing I'm going to say.
So for a long time, my position on voter ID has been I'm totally okay with voter ID. Just make it free, automatically register everyone to vote, send them voter ID for free. If you do those things, I have absolutely zero problem with voter ID. I think it's probably an unnecessary burden on just the government to do that because it's totally unnecessary. There's only a handful of cases of voter fraud every year. And by a handful, I mean you can count them on your hands. But sure, if they really are that upset about it, sure, we can do that. And if we can get automatic voter registration out of it, even better. Here's the thing, though, TJ. I read some interesting data, and I didn't look too far into it, but to like really confirm that it's true. because personally, I think that voter ID and trying to get people not to vote by voter ID law is just fundamentally anti-democratic, and so I don't support it. But the data did show, and it was from a trusted statistician, that if this were to go into effect, it would impact Republicans way more than Democrats. And it's not even particularly close, especially with Trump's voters, who are largely more likely to be lower information, lower education, lower income voters who are less likely to have government identification. It's going to probably hurt the Republicans more. So at this point, I'm kind of just like, you know what? If they really want to hoot and holler about this, let them have the win, guys. Let them have what they think is a win, because they think that they're all better and smarter and they can get an ID, and those greedy ass, lazy city dweller Democrats don't have an ID. So we're going to win this. And I'm no longer so convinced that it's going to be good for them. So fuck it. Let them have it. Let them have the rope to hang themselves with.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking something similar there. I still would say that, make sure that it's easy to access and it's free and everything like that. But yeah, I would like to see data on this, because this is what I've always heard. I've always heard that voter ID impacts, minorities and or like lower income populations in general. That might be more likely to vote Democrat in inner city populations or urban populations. And it's like, I don't know how true that is. I really don't. I that's what I've heard all this time, and so I'd like to see data on this. It is funny, like with the SAVE Act. I don't know if this is actually true, but people keep saying that it requires you to have a passport to provide your citizenship or something like that, and how that would definitely knock off like 90% of Trump voters.
If they do that, they're fucked. They're so fucked.
It's over. It's all done. Yeah, it's all done. So yeah, I think that the Democrats should, in some way or another, say yes, we support voter ID laws, because I got to say, it is a sell that I see the average person buying. In fact, the SAVE Act has something like a 70% approval rate. That I think I saw something like that. It's like, yeah, just kind of roll with it, because I'm not so sure that it'll be the silver bullet the Republicans are thinking of. Trump kept calling the Democrats sick people, which I thought was pretty funny. Social Security, Medicare thing. And one vibe I got from this State of the Union is that Trump is making the same mistake that Biden and Democrats made a year and a half ago, saying everything's fine. Actually, everything's great. I know that you guys are worried and there's affordability crisis, but everything's fine. He trotted out his favorite line that I saw gas that was $1.99 in some states. Never list the states exactly, but what do you think? I think he kind of there for someone who is as low on approval ratings as he is, and for a Republican Party that is 9 months away from getting massacred, I didn't see a lot of energy or a life raft to reach for.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer your question. I first have to address Josh Shori-Meyer says he has a cat in his pants. That is tengo un gato en mis pantalones, and he says todos los tarjetas de identificación estatal son gratuitas y que pagar por una licencia. Now, what he's saying there is, I'm pretty sure, because this is sarcasm, all of the ID cards for free, you have to pay for a license. And so I really appreciate that not only are our Spanish language listeners commenting in Spanish, but they're also commenting in low level enough Spanish that even I can understand it. Thank you guys for the practice. It means a lot. My wife is in the other room smiling, I am sure. But she just said yes, she confirms. But they're going to lose this, TJ. There's going to be a massive blue wave. There's no, and I don't know the reasons why, TJ. It's going to be impossible to determine what thing is driving it. But this messaging on the economy that, hey, everyone, don't worry, it's fine, it's actually good. They don't even say, look at this graph. At least the Democrats would point to some evidence that was twisted, but still evidence. They just say, yeah, trust us, bro. It's all going to be good. The phrase we've been using a lot. I don't know if Trump said this last night, but he has said it. Mike Johnson said it. Several congressmen have said it, is Their 2025 was setting the table. 2026 would be the feast and banquet. Have you heard that, TJ?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, I've heard multiple of them say it. I don't know what focus group they have running. That's a winning message, but it sounds so let them eat cake. Like, I cannot believe, like, they sound like Democrats. Like, genuinely, their entire economic messaging, they have no idea what to do, because they literally sound like the Democrats did 2 years ago.
Yikes! I didn't. Not looking good. Not looking good for them. I agree. I like their weird. It sounds like oddly biblical, but it's not. I would know if it was, and it's just like a strange one right there. And with that comment you said about the gatos and los pantalones, that's from Bad Boys, right? Isn't that something that the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith he yells it, that guy? So gatos and los pantalones. Oh, maybe you don't know. All right, never mind. That's definitely from Bad Boys.
It sounds like something I've heard before, but also I've never seen Bad Boys. So
okay, well, Bad Boys 1 and 2 are excellent films. You should check them out. And Colby says the Papi, your Espanol is excellent. And Hugh Jazz says those are all your wife's sock accounts. John is like, she has 100 sock accounts that she just activated today and forgot to translate it to English. Just make people speak Spanish. That's fantastic. I love that. Oh shit. Okay.
Josh says that there is different identification to have a license. I think he's saying there's some it's different ID than a license that you need. With maybe is what he's saying with the Save Act. I'm loving this bilingual episode that we're having of the Left Wing. It's absolutely fantastic.
This is great. This is the first. It's a long time coming. We've been too bigoted, only speaking the Queen's English here, the King's English now, and we need to change that. I don't know if this is what he's talking about with Joshua. Fucking, I don't know. Joshua Reimar. That is not a Spanish name. You know what? Fuck it. Anyway, the identification you need to
get in Ohio just fucking with us.
You ever see? You ever wonder if you have any racist tendencies? They come out real easy when you see something you're not used to. You ever see something jarring, like an Asian person with like a Scottish accent or something? You're like, whoa, okay.
I know what you're talking about. It's very weird.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. That doesn't fit my paradigm here. It is either an Asian accent or American English, like one or the other. You can't just do this to me, all right, man? I don't need to see. I see a Japanese person speaking in a German accent, I'm gonna be terrified. We can't let these two cultures combine anymore. We've seen the damage that they can do, but. Yeah, so I wanted to pull up this clip here. I forgot what it was about. Let's go. Let's both be surprised.
They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas.
Oh, he's talking about Iran.
And they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, in particular nuclear weapons, yet they continue starting it all over. We wiped it out and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
All right, so John, I want to get your opinion of what Trump said right there, because from what I remember, you were jonesing for war with Iran. So what do you think now that Trump bringing it back up again?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm not jonesing for war with Iran. Sorry, Mark. But so it's weird because what's going on with Iran right now is not anything to do with nuclear weapons. Like they just started talking about nuclear weapons probably to manufacture consent, because Americans do not want war with Iran. I think it's really the only reason we haven't struck Iran is because Americans are so against the idea that they don't want to risk any sort of political fallout here domestically. But it has nothing to do with their nuclear program. It has everything to do with the fact that the regime is weaker than it has ever been. They are collapsing from the inside. Protests are going on. And by protests, I don't mean American protests. I mean Middle Eastern protests, where people are literally risking their lives. They are gathering people up. If they don't kill them on the streets, they're gathering them up and having mass public executions. It is really, really bad. The regime is hanging on by a thread, using complete authoritarian force to try and just quell all consent through lethal agenda in their country. And that's why I say, hey, I wouldn't be completely opposed to military intervention in Iran, because what they are doing is the kind of thing that does warrant military intervention. If you were to look at, say, any other thing, that any war that you think is justified in history, say you can go back to World War II, whatever, and you could say, hey, we should start the attack right now at this moment, you would have had agreed with that if you were looking at where they are in the regime right now. And if we can take out the regime, which has been absolutely terrible for the people of Iran, all the better. However, regime change is messy. It can very much backfire, and there's a lot of reasons to not go to war with Iran too. Primarily, the reason I would not support it right now is because Trump is in charge of doing it. And Trump doesn't do anything that doesn't benefit him, which also might be the reason we haven't actually done it yet. I would actually wager that in this case, we might be looking at a situation where the Democrat, Kamala might have hit Iran at this point already. You saw Democrats standing up there, cheering him on there, which they shouldn't be, but I understand why they are. And it just, I don't know. They're manufacturing consent with the nuke stuff. That's not actually any part of the equation of whether or not we strike Iran.
I don't know if I agree that it's not part of the equation, because we've been well, I know I was joking about John jonesing to go to war with Iran, but the United States has been for a long time, for a very, going back to the Iraq War, I guess the second Iraq War back in the 2000s, that Iran was on the list too. I don't know if you remember this, John, but George W. Bush, he would talk about the axis of evil, and he would talk about Iran, Iraq, and North Korea. I thought North Korea was thrown in there, I always thought, but the battle plans and the strategies to invade Iran has been there going back a long time, and that we facilitated regime change in the Iranian government back in the 1950s. And so I guess the question would be, if they wanted to replace the regime, who replaces it? Well, obviously they already have someone. They have the son of the Shah. That's who they want. Yep. They want another Western-controlled puppet dictator.
The regime change it back.
We're running it back, folks. We got the gang back together. We got the Shah's kid. He's got to be like 70 or 80 something by now, and we're gonna have him running the show. So I think that the nuclear weapons thing, it might be a canard, but I'm less likely to believe it, because what Trump says is a lie. Like back when what did they call it? Midnight something? I can't remember what the name of the operation was. Midnight Hammer. Operation Midnight Hammer, when Trump sent planes to bomb Iranian nuclear facilities. And he's been saying for months now that their operation is destroyed. It's obliterated, is the word he used. There's nothing left. They can't start up the nuclear weapons program. Oh wait, actually they can. And this is Trump saying that, but that part actually is true. That the IAEA says, oh yeah, they did some damage to the nuclear weapons program, or the nuclear program in Iran. There's no evidence that was a weapons program, but they're back up and running. And my question to Republicans is, yeah, they probably don't support war with Iran now. They probably don't support, but if Trump ever came out and said it, of course they would. How long is this show going to keep going? Like, what's the plan here? You guys just want to keep bombing these nuclear facilities and not destroying them, just to have them turn around and do it again 2 months later? And what I always say is that if we're going to take the position, like Trump said, we're going to give the world's #1 sponsor of terror a nuclear weapon, something they've been saying for 20 years now, is like, first off, who gave us the authority to say that we can dictate who does and who does not get nuclear weapons? Like, where are we getting this authority from? But assuming that that's the proper conclusion to come to, that we are the arbiters of who gets nuclear weapons, the framework that the Obama administration set in place was as close as you were ever going to get to Iran never retaining a nuclear weapon, and Trump destroyed it. He destroyed it, and now he's going to start a war over it. Not surprised, but kind of disappointed the country for not seeing. I'm surprised more people aren't saying this because it's so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the nuclear weapon thing, like you said, this has been a thing for years now. But even Netanyahu has been saying that Iran is weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon for my entire life. Like it is the Elon Musk. We're gonna have a colony on Mars in 10 years. Iran's gonna have a nuclear weapon. Whatever it is, that's why I say like that has nothing to do with the current military escalation. It's the same as it has ever been. Like, sure, is it part of the calculus? Maybe, but it always has been. That part hasn't changed. They're not closer to getting a nuclear weapon now than they were 3 months ago before any of this was happening. In fact, they're probably farther away. The change is that they're actually deflatable now. Like we couldn't topple the regime before. Now we can. That's the only calculus that has actually changed. And I think the reason that we're playing this waiting game is the administration's like, okay, we can use this as leverage to extract concessions and not damage ourselves politically by actually going in guns blazing. And that's what we're seeing right now. Like, that's my best reading of the situation. Of course, there's so much fog of war, smoke and mirrors here that this is just my speculation. Don't be taking this as like some inside source. It just seems to me to be the case of what is happening, knowing how the Trump administration typically operates and knowing what the situation in Iran is in general terms. But it's tough. I also will say I've seen you pull up the doubles luge thing a couple times. Don't play that in case you were, because we got copyright stricken the last time you played it.
Oh, well, I mean, okay. All right. I wasn't going to pull it up. That was just on my likes. And so that was from the last episode. So that's why you see it. I don't plan on pulling it up. I was right now, I was trying to find, you're speaking of war, the guy who won the Medal of Honor. I can't remember his name. I know he was CW5. Did you see that part or hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So let's see, what's his name? Eric Slover was his name. And Trump presented the Congressional Medal of Honor to Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover. And the Medal of Honor, John, the conflict, what conflict it was from, like what war this was from. It was from the invasion of Venezuela. That's what the Medal of Honor was from, which happened, a few minutes ago? Medal of Honor... This is okay. I will start by saying this. This is a delicate subject. I probably won't make a video on it because it's hard to say, how hard to express my feelings adequately here. But the Medal of Honor is the highest award you can get in any branch of the military. Any branch of the military, that is the highest honor you can get. And people have done a lot of heroic shit and gotten nowhere close to getting a Medal of Honor, right? And usually it's a posthumous award. That's how hard it is to get a Medal of Honor. Most people who get it are dead. And this guy was the pilot that took troops into Venezuela, not a war, by the way, I want to put that out, not a war, but to Venezuela. And he did get shot 4 times in the leg while he was flying. So not taking anything away from his service or anything like that, or, his bravery, I guess, whether you agree with his actions or not. But if you would have just told me that, or literally anyone in the military, that you get a guy who went in for an operation to a foreign country in a combat zone, got shot 4 times, still kept the plane, still landed it, or the helicopter, whatever he was flying, and then got out and everyone survived. Okay, that is probably a Silver Star. That's probably what you're going to get. Maybe a Bronze Star, but I would bank on Silver Star. The highest honor you get from combat action generally is going to be a Silver Star. And a Congressional Medal of Honor for this is insane. It's insane getting a Congressional Medal of Honor. If you read what other people did to get a Congressional, and I hate saying this because I'm not saying the guy didn't deserve an award as far as the military is concerned. I'm not talking morality here. The military gives awards for the acts that you do, whether they're moral or otherwise. But getting shot 4 times is a big deal. You get a Purple Heart, definitely. Almost certainly a Silver Star. I almost feel bad for the guy for getting a clearly political moment Medal of Honor. That this is Trump being on the biggest stage he's going to have for the next 9 months, saying, here's a Medal of Honor, the highest award I can give, and I'm giving it to this guy Medal of Honors take years to come through. You'll see people getting Medals of Honor going back to like Vietnam or Gulf War. It takes that long a lot of times for folks to get Medals of Honor. And this guy gets it after a couple of months. And he also gave it, I can't remember the award he gave. Oh, the Navy Cross. He gave the Navy Cross, which is I think the Navy equivalent to the Silver Star. Don't come after you guys in the Navy. I think they're equivalent awards. But the Navy Cross to a Korean war pilot. That was, 70 years ago? I'm surprised the guy's still alive. And this guy gets a Medal of Honor, a higher award after a few weeks. So what do you think about that, John? I know you're our resident military expert. What do you think of this guy getting his discount Medal of Honor? No offense, Chief. No offense, but just so you know.
So I kind of agree with you in that it probably is really embarrassing for him, or at least I would hope it is. Like I would hope that the guy realizes, hey, this is a political stunt and I'm being utilized as a tool. I don't really have the power to say no. I mean, I guess he could, but that would be I wouldn't be. I don't begrudge him for just coalescing to being used as a political tool. That's fine. It's nothing wrong with him. But I would hope that he's a little embarrassed about the fact that he clearly doesn't deserve this honor. That honestly, Trump doesn't give a shit. Trump genuinely believes, and he has said this, like he prefers his prisoners, his soldiers, to not be captured. He thinks that doing something for honor is a dumbass thing to do. He genuinely looks down on people who sacrifice for their country. It makes sense in Donald Trump's mind. And so someone who sacrificed for him deserves the Medal of Honor more than someone who sacrificed for their country. Who gives a shit about the country? This is about what serves Donnie. That's why he's getting this Medal of Honor. I mean, it's very blatant. It's very obvious. And TJ, this is why Democrats just shouldn't have attended. Like I'm actually like my biggest takeaway from this whole thing, the first State of the Union, I was torn. I was like, I don't really know what the right answer is. It's very clear and obvious now that they should not attend. They're just being used as political props for a regime that, by their attendance, shows that they are legitimizing. They are saying, hey, this is the president of the United States, and we respect him as such. Why? He doesn't respect the presidency. He, like DJ just said, he doesn't give a flying fuck about what the Medal of Honor is. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to give it out because it serves him. He doesn't care about decorum. He doesn't care about norms. He doesn't care about decency. The entire thing is to just serve him. And so why show up? What possible benefit can there be to showing up? And, you know, I will always respect Ilhan Omar. I'll always respect a lot of the people who did show up. But, like, I don't understand why. I genuinely... God, what's his name? The guy
Green?
The sign.
Al Green.
Al Green. Al Franken was coming to mind. I was like, no, it's not Al Franken. Yeah, that one. Like, what's the point? What's the point? If you're not going to make some grand statement of unified protest, what's the point of all of you just showing up with your little tit for tat little shits? And when they stood during the Iran clip there, I was like, why? If you are going to be compelled to stand and clap for Donald Trump because you can't not stand and clap for, hey, we're not going to give Iran nuclear weapons because of your personal beliefs or your constituents or whatever, then don't fucking go. Like, if you think that he could say anything that's going to cause you to stand and clap for that man, do not go. Like, why are you there? What's the point? What are you gaining? What are we gaining from your attendance to the State of the Union? Nothing. I really don't understand. After that, what happened last night? What's the point of them being there?
I am like 90% with you, and I think you'll agree with everything you say. It's not necessarily a disagreement, but a different approach, because you mentioned this too, that I think not showing up wouldn't look good. I think it would look weaker than, well, I'll get to it later, but like, and it will allow Trump to say our opponents are so cowardly. I can see that being kind of upsetting to your average normie American, whatever. But I think that a better strategy, which I know you're on board with, is disrupt it. Like Al Green last time when he stood up and just started yelling and shaking his cane. And I didn't know who Al Green was before that, but shaking his cane and yelling at Trump and be escorted away. And we heralded that. We thought that was amazing. In fact, we said then what I think John will agree with today, that the Democrats should strategize on this. That
Mhm.
have one person stand up and begin the speech, start yelling, and just yell until they kick you out. Then have another person do it. Do this all fucking night. There's hundreds of you, right? You make the speech go on 9 hours if you have to, or just shut it down completely. Because what the only thing that looks worse than not showing up, and as far as looking weak, is you sitting there and letting Trump berate you like that, saying these people don't love the country, these people are weak, these people, and then you have sporadic folks yelling here and there that you can't hear because they're not mic'd up. And Al Green, all the respect in the world for what he did last year, I don't think this was it. I do not think this was it. You agree? Okay, I can see why you didn't want to say it, but I don't think this was it. I think that this was like, I don't know. If you hadn't heard the story about Trump posting that image, I'd be like, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he putting that up there? And I think that a lot of people who aren't tuned into politics wouldn't even know about that story, about Trump posting that image with Barack and Michelle Obama. I wouldn't have gone that route. Then again, he can do what he wants. He's earned a pass from me for what he did last year. I thought what he did last year was a lot better. And I wish that the Democrats were, like you said, more coordinated on this, than that we're going to disrupt this. If Trump is going to make a mockery and a farce out of this entire event, so are we. Right? We're going to do this. He's going to be forced to have a Republican-only State of the Union address, which will make him look weak. This seems like pretty simple strategy to me, but then again, I don't have the big boy job like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, like, if I'm going to compare it to the content creation game, like when you get you try out like a new format for your content and it absolutely hits, but then you don't really know how to follow it up, so you put some weak sauce out there just because the algorithm told you that you should, and it completely bombs. That's what this felt like, because you're right. Last year, I was full respect for him. It was awesome to watch him stand there and stand up to him and get taken out. Very disappointed that none of the Democrats joined in that protest, but he won. He won the State of the Union last year, and it just felt like he was trying to do the same thing again, but worse. It just didn't come off. And you're right. Only us, only people who are already inclined to be following this shit even understands what that sign is a reference to. I'll say it because I know you agree with me, but that's the 800th worst thing Trump has done in the past few weeks. As much as that was horrendously racist, it's bait. That's bait. I don't know how you can't recognize bait. It's okay to talk about it and be like, hey guys, this is fucked up. But to make that the statement you're making at this point, it's why are you taking the bait when, if you're going to hold up a sign that says something, I can think of 10 different things off the top of my head that would be more effective than black people aren't apes, because A, everyone agrees with that statement. 2, the people who don't agree with it, who gives a shit? You're never going to change your minds. And 3, the majority of people aren't going to know what the fuck you're even talking about. Why even say it?
And this is my mind also went here, being a guy who's good at insults, is that it's actually pretty good at a great thing when you're good at insulting the people, is that you find openings you can't really teach it, but when someone says something, oh, this is easy to boomerang on them, or easy to, use pedantry to still make the insult. Those are great like that. And when I saw that, this brought up one of my biggest fears whenever people say this, because I know that there's some right-winger out there who miraculously has a triple-digit IQ who's going to come up with this when they'll say black people aren't apes, and they'll say, yes, they are. All humans are apes. So it's okay to say black people are apes. I mean, it's a scientifically correct statement. I thought you libs believed in science. I was like, don't do that. Don't make the statement that basic and easy to refute from the racist point of view. Once again, it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but it's only because I had such high expectations for Al Green. Honestly, if he did the same fucking thing, if he did the same thing as last year, getting up and just disrupting Trump 4 years in a row, who's going to complain about that? What, are they going to kick him out? Good. That makes you even more popular. And I don't know, I am kind of surprised the Democrats haven't run with this, because there's no way they haven't thought of this, right? They must think that it would be a detriment to them. And by the way, think of this. Trump he's at what, 38-40% approval rating. Trump is a wounded antelope at this point. Go smell the blood in the water, man. Go for the kill. Go for it. Like, you guys have the wind at your back. You're going to crush the Republicans, but they're making a concerted effort to say, oh, we're going to stand back and just say a few things here and there while he insults us. Let him get enough rope to hang himself. Look, maybe it'll work, but it doesn't inspire me for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, you make a great point there with, like, you got to know how to insult someone, and that's not going to
Yeah.
him. It's like they vice signal. Like, his whole thing is vice signaling. Calling him a racist is what he wants you to do, believe it or not. I know this is going to be a shock to, you know, seasoned Democratic politicians, but Donald Trump likes when you call him racist. He loves it. His base loves it. They eat it up. If you're trying to get a message across that Donald Trump is racist, it's not going to land. It's not going to land. It's actually going to hurt your cause because he wants you to. That's not the chink in the armor to attack. And there are so many more. Like, Ilhan Omar attacked him killing American citizens. That's fine. That's a fine message. Again, I don't think they should have been there in the first place, but that's a fine thing to attack because that does upset people. And that is a really hard position to defend. If you really wanted to make a statement, and I know that, like, your risk-averse fucking politician nature is going to stop you from doing this, but the sign should have said Donald Trump rapes kids. The sign should have said the president is a pedophile.
Oh my God. Yes.
I don't. If you're gonna put a sign up that's gonna get you kicked out, go for broke. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't be the president is a pedophile. That is what the sign should have read. That is clear to everyone what the fuck you're talking about, and it's actually going to hurt him. It's actually going to piss him off. You are going to see an unhinged reaction from him when you do that. He didn't give a shit about the fucking monkey sign. Like, he just doesn't. If anything, it made him smile. Like, it seems like a blown opportunity. Again, if you are going to attend and hold up a sign, you're going to be criticized when it's dog shit. I'm sorry.
That's great, John. I love that. Just go out there. Donald Trump's in the Epstein files. Like, why is Trump mentioned so many times in the Epstein file? What's up with that accusation of Donald Trump and the 13-year-old girl? Just like, there's a lot of ways to go with this. And yes, it would absolutely piss Trump off. It would throw him off his game, and it would put them on the defensive. Because you're right.
What a sign of him and Epstein and an email and a picture. There's so many things you could do.
So many.
And if all of them did that, TJ, imagine if Al Franken did that, helped the sign, got kicked out, and then another one did with another mention of him in the Epstein files, and then another one did, and they all did until they were all kicked out, and you have the same result as if no one showed up, but now all of the headlines are about that protest. You've just totally captured the news cycle. This isn't that hard, TJ.
No!
The reason I'm getting heated right now is this is so fucking easy. It took me 30 seconds of thinking about this in the middle of a conversation with you to come up with something better than what they did. And these people are supposed to be the defenders of our fucking freedom. Like, fuck them.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because these are smart. Well, a lot of them are smart, not all of them, but there are some smart people in this group. They could have done something here. They could have. There didn't seem to be any coordination. You can't tell me those folks that
I've seen coordination.
And I've seen coordination that I thought was bad. I remember during Trump's first term, a few congresswomen wore all white suits or something. Do you remember that? They all wore white clothes. Yeah. It was dumb, but at least it was coordinated. I didn't see anything here. I didn't see anything of the sort. I'm running out of time here, but I wanted to bring this up real quick about Trump going after the Somali immigrants. And here we go. Let's see.
The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the...
Boy, they had the camera ready to go to Ilhan Omar when he mentioned Somali. It's like, oh, wow, that's kind of, I hate that. But all right, here we go.
...of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA, and it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance.
I wanted to play that because of what you mentioned there, that attacking them and calling them racist isn't going to work because, god damn, man, the president of the United States gets up there and says that there are some cultures out there that cannot assimilate to the United States of America. They come from places that are filled with unbridled lawlessness and terror, unlike, here or something like that. We can't allow Somalis in particular to be brought in through, what do you say, unfiltered, unfettered, or unchecked immigration, as if that's a thing, as if they just brought Somali immigrants over here without finding out anything about them. And yeah, that's not going to work with these folks when you have stuff like that. I wanted to add that to your point.
Yeah, no, I love that you pointed out the camera was ready to pan to
ready, man.
Because it's not that hard to predict. It's like, oh yeah, at some point Trump is going to make some outlandish racist statement about Somalians, and at that point, they probably had someone ill on him the whole time, like just on her the whole time, waiting for her to do something, or Trump to mention Somalis. I could do a whole segment tomorrow, TJ, on the culture. We can't import the third world culture argument, that this is something that less than 4 years ago, but the last time Trump was president, this sort of argument was just starting to come forth on like the frothiest far right wings of the party. Like this is something that you'd hear Matt Walsh say. This is something that you might maybe hear Ben Shapiro say, but you would never even hear Fox News anchors say something like this. And now it's already being propagated by the president of the United States. And that is how fast this cycle is moving. And it is scary in that sense. And it's really upsetting that that's just the norm. Like, I have people in my comments all the time now talking about like, oh, well, their culture's incompatible. No, that first of all, culture isn't a real fucking thing. You know what? Let's do a segment on this tomorrow, TJ. We're running out of time.
That sounds good.
And I could go on this fucking tangent for the next half an hour.
All right. That sounds good. Well, we got to shut it down, folks. It's about that time. Tomorrow, we'll bring this up and a few other topics too. Maybe we should move our show to Wednesday. This is one of our highest watched shows we've ever had. So, like I said, maybe more English speakers.
Well, we'll discuss it, but yeah, no, definitely make sure you turn on the Spanish subtitles.
Arabic. Joshua Reimer, what language do you speak, man? What is happening here? Well, it's a smiley face. I'm sure maybe he did that on purpose, but yeah. So, all right, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.
Hasta la vista.
God, hasta la vista.